Are you starting on live stream already or testing?
Microphone. Okay, now we're on the live stream. You're streaming, and so far the computer's not complaining. So far, so good. Both
Good
channels.
signs.
And just line up the picture a bit here. And welcome everyone to the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group. Let me see if I can. I'll just put my picture on briefly. It's me. My backward baseball cap, according to advice from Shandor today, which we determined that the weight factor of the baseball cap helps on the posture to keep your head more erect and aligns the spine and other internals and so on, which we might get into a little bit here.
So maybe the weight may do some action. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I observed the way how we are dressing. It affects also our way how we used to stand. You know,
yes.
Who is something which makes you to look down mainly.
Yes, right, and that's true with the baseball cap too. When it's this way, I'm more or less forced to look down, which is useful if you're in any of the trades. That's what they used it for, because then you're focused more on your trade that way. Good point. Go ahead.
So sometimes I get as a souvenir such a hat. For instance, I had a friend from Kazakhstan. We knew each other from Facebook, and when he has visited here, just as tradition, he brought a hat as a present. I was surprised he could find, without a meeting in person, he just seen my photos, he found exactly my size, and usually I have problems in finding hats on my size, because I wear quite odd number 62 centimeters around. And this, for instance, has here some decorations which are good for your third eye and so on. But something interesting I observed. Yes. Yes, and also you see here some floral shape which looks. These decorations go back to thousands of years, and it's a tradition. And okay, this is a very nice hat from a very nice friend, all handmade, of course. And recently I have been in Russia, and I've got another souvenir, a Cossack hat. And what I observed, you see, I'm typing all the day and my spine is not very straight, but whenever I take this on my head, it's actually pulling my head up. And actually I cannot wear in any other form like this. So maybe there is some action which it does on the energetic system of the body. I don't know the reason why, but always when I take it off, I stay like this. And when I take it on, I become like this, like a Cossack with very straight standing. Maybe it's something to do with this cross symbol on the top. I don't know. So this is to be established. It may be so. I saw those women carrying such a big vessels with water, about 40 kilograms on their head, and just balancing it. Yeah, like Mrs. Simpson from the cartoon. Yeah. Actually, you see, the head is somehow the mirror of the entire being, and it's interesting when they are artistic representation. Always, what is represented above the head represents the spirituality, the knowledge. And you see, when somebody pictures, yeah. So what you see an imam who has a big knowledge, and the Muslims they always used to have such a very big turban, something very big, and you see religious leaders also have something very large, or you see the heads of the students when they get their diploma. They have a square shape like an open book, so everything is put in their head in a square shape. So they are indoctrinated with that piece of the indoctrination, and they have to be exactly like it is. It's very interesting about that. Just about the Cossacks, I wanted to say about the Cossacks, they were traditionally agricultures, farmers, and in the same time they were warriors trained from the childhood, good horse riders and so on. And there was a difference in the martial art and the official martial arts, called official martial arts, on which we were trained the soldiers of the kings, because the king just trained the soldiers to attack. Usually they had no techniques to defend themselves. They just had a policy, okay, let's send 100,000 foot soldiers here. Okay, we lose 10,000 foot soldiers on right wing, but we win with the cavalry on the left wing. So they based on sacrifice and so on. But the Cossack was a poor man, and he had to stay alive and to go home to feed his family. So he needed to go back to plow the land, to sow the harvest and so on. So they had special defenses, ways how to protect themselves. Just sometimes simply, but they moving away from an attack and just preserving themselves. And what's interesting in the Cossacks martial arts is a very important part, the internal work of the internal energies and meditation, and they work with the sky energy, the heavens energy or the sun's energy, and they work with earth energy as well. They have breathing techniques, and they have way how to align these energies into their body. It's a not much known knowledge because you cannot write too many words about it, so you need an instructor and to learn from him, who drives you how to do it and how to learn it. And one of the applications is the fighting without contact. It's a non-contact way. It's not for attack, it's for defense. So you can see many such demonstrations recently on YouTube. The Cossacks techniques have been introduced into Spetsnaz, the special forces, and there they develop with their scientific ways about the theories of the pivots and other physics, how to use something more efficiently. And the basis still remains there to the fighting without contact. You see somebody is attacking the person and he just makes 2-3 movements with his hands and the other loses his balance and falls down. So it's a work with internal energies and somehow also working with the attention of the other, because if you make a sudden movement, somebody tends to move his head away to not be hit because of his reflexes, and using those motions you can make the other to lose his own balance if he is not enough stable. But it's interesting, this internal part, which is based on a very old Russian tradition. And I think there are many other nations in the world who have such old traditions. Some preserve them, some lost them.
If we were to sort of look at that idea in terms of the plasmatic theories, the plasma and GANs and this kind of thing, in a way, that control of you're in a way controlling the GANs of another plasmatic structure, another body, let's say, that's trying to intrude into your space. So if you know about the control of how to control plasma and GANs and other sorts of things like that, then controlling the energies or the where the matter comes from, so what the next movement's going to be because the motion of the universe. And like you're saying, you make that one feint, the guy moves his head, and then you can make another movement or two, and suddenly he falls down. Well, in a way, you're manipulating that other plasma without even touching it in this case. You don't necessarily have to actually hit someone, touch them. You allow this other plasmatic structure to make its own mistakes, and because you have the knowledge of the universe, of how flows go,
I'd like to point
it
out
gives more
something,
control over the situation.
Before promoting here martial arts, I'd like to point out here that Cossacks martial art and Sistema, which was developed from that, has the main point, one of the points, to not do too much harm for the opponent. It's not the purpose to kill the other, it's the purpose to stop the attacker.
Right.
So they try to just to stop the other, and they respect the life. They don't want to kill the other because every life is valuable. Does not matter how is the intention of the other person.
Right, but it's okay to let them tire themselves out, for example, or just give up. That's the way of the universe.
To hit the hard floor.
Yeah, if they hit the floor a few times.
To take away his willingness to continue.
Right. So, if you were, I'm trying to extrapolate this into, say you were flying in a spacecraft in space, and you came across this, force that was intruding into your force fields or your plasmatic structure. Then what would be appropriate responses, and it would be more along the lines of self-defense than offense, probably in most cases, and simply avoiding that penetration by a movement, a positive positioning into a position that you are no longer being intruded upon by that force. So rather than trying to, let's increase the power and overcome this force, because it may turn out that force is way bigger than that little tendril that you encountered to start with. That was the tip of the tendril of the octopus, and you're just teasing it by bumping into it, and it's way bigger than what you thought. So those kinds of techniques where the martial arts, where they accentuate do not harm someone, always warn them first, like they talk about black belts having to warn someone 3 times that I'm a black belt, please do not continue intruding on me by trying to hit me or whatever it is.
I used to say the same. If somebody wants to fight with me, I used to say, please don't fight with me. You have no chance because I'm a 5-dan master in origami.
There you go.
No origami, paper folding.
And yes, if they don't recognize what origami is, they would think it's some sort of very sophisticated martial art and would probably back away. If they knew what origami was, then they'd laugh at it, and you disable them right in that instant as well. So that's a very powerful statement there. Well, I mean, there you go. That would be the good natural response to being in a spaceship, to being intruded upon by this entity. It's like, I'm warning you, I'm an expert at origami, And they think, oh, paper folding. I better watch this guy. He might know about multiple universes and dimensions. Better. Okay, I'm backing off. I'm backing off. You know,
Okay, so
and
learning
plus
from
he's
this,
using humor. Okay, obviously a higher life form. I guess we better leave him alone. You know, so that might be the way it is. It might be
Or
that
you get ET to start laughing, burst laughing. Then
There
it
you
would be
go.
another good greetings, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
what could be a better greeting than back off or I'll fart or not like that, but just something that's diverting than the way you name it there. I mean, out in space it'll be a different sort of scenario. It won't be quite that direct, perhaps, but who knows? If you look at Star Trek, you could run into civilizations or entities that kind of humor is absolutely the only way that would guarantee your survival.
the interesting thing we can learn from the nature for ways how to defend. Have you seen in such a scuba diving and such a diver movies? It was Jacques Cousteau who made very many such a movies in the past. This fascinating world of the under the sea world, and there are sometimes fishes which are swimming always together. You see, every fish is moving in the same time, synchronized perfectly with the other, like it would be one soul and many bodies. And sometimes a shark comes there and tries to catch a fish, and when the shark attacks, all the fishes just make a hole in the group of them, and the shark just passes through and catches nothing. They just let him go through without hitting anything hard. And I've seen in pugilism, in box, I've seen very successful boxers. With a couple of years ago here in Hungary, one talented young boxer, for instance, who had the agility just to move away from the attacker until the attacker got tired by hitting the air so many times, because it takes out a lot of energy.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali was that way. He was known
Yeah, Muhammad Ali.
for being able to dodge and bounce around like crazy that way. That was his claim to fame, basically. So yeah,
Could I shift the conversation just a little
absolutely.
bit?
Hi, John Bliven.
How are you? You know, this last few weeks, there's been a lot of talk about the creation of a spaceship and how we go about doing it. And I think a lot of the conversation is on the right track. And I think we're kind of at the point where we just need to start doing rather than talking about doing. And I think that part of the things that we're starting to find out is this collective consciousness, and the collective consciousness being the group consciousness. That's the powerful tool that gets us to where our dreams can manifest. I put up an article on the post. I don't know if everybody's watching some of the conversations that are going on in the community forum. I found some very valuable information being shared there. And I also heard some very valuable information discussed amongst us during the weeks in terms of how to pull some of that together. Peter is a very bright soul, and so is Denny in terms of their thoughts.
Yeah.
So I think that if we kind of collectively get together, and I'm going to offer up maybe just following this session, that we all maybe kind of go into our own little group meditation thing. I know we've been talking about it for quite some time. Maybe it's time to spend 15 minutes of your own quiet time after this meeting, where you pull together and try to do some of the things that Keshe was talking about in terms of pulling together. Remembering that when we open up ourselves to allow for, let's say, the sharing of energies, amongst the group where everybody's an equal, and just become a vessel where we share unequivocally, where we kind of detach from the results, where we just don't worry about the results, don't worry about exactly how it's going to look. Allow the universe and our helpers, if you will, to interact with us in ways that maybe we don't see as the right result, but they see it as a better result. And maybe if we all kind of pull together in that way, we can make it happen. And one of the things I also think is important is that we have a common vision of, if we're going to create a spacecraft, where are we going to create it? And initially, I kind of thought about, having a shared vision where, my initial thoughts were like a backyard type arrangement or somewhere where we can watch it. Maybe even a better vision would be to create it right in the classroom in which Keshe is working. So in other words, envision him walking into the classroom and finding a spaceship. Now, one of the things that I think is very important, and this adds to our ability to what he calls emotionally attached to our outcome, or not attached to, but emotionally charge our outcome. What we as a group, as a collective group, the participants of this Spaceship Institute, I don't know if everybody else has got the same feeling, but in my heart, I feel like we are on the cusp of birthing something that is very big for humanity as a whole. Now, Mr. Keshe is leading us along the way. He wants us to find our own way. And the only way we're going to find our own way is by stepping forward and being the person that we know that we can be, being the creator being that, we were birthed on this planet to be. If we kind of hold that emotion of that our role in this drama that's playing out before us is huge. What we potentially can bring to this planet, each and every one of us, as we quote master our skills, is beyond belief. What we're going to learn when these plasma units come out is that we are going to be able to communicate and interact with plasmas in a way that we've never fully understood in the past. And some of these things that Mr. Keshe is talking about, in my mind, are going to be bigger than what he's even talked about. And it's up to us to fully embrace that and bring it to light. Any comments?
Sorry, my microphone was muted. Sorry. Yes, I remarked here the collective intention, or the collective consciousness, more exactly, and that brought to my mind that there is one single thing which can unite easily groups of people, and that's the common intention, the shared intention.
And that's where Mr. Keshe uses the words "my wish."
Yes, and that
so
should
it's
be
like
if my wish and your wish and Rick's wish are the same. In that case, together we can do something for that to be achieved.
And that's where we kind of, excuse me. That's where we kind of.
Yeah, there is an old Aesop story or La Fontaine tale about it was a cart, and different animals tried to put an effort to move the cart, and everyone did it in different ways. So the bird wanted to pull it up, the horse to pull it forward, the crab to pull it backwards, and so on, and nothing came out from that. So it's needed for an agreement for the same intention, for everybody to use the same vectors in same direction.
This is Modest. I have an idea. Actually,
Okay, go ahead, Modris.
because what John said, like I was yesterday thinking, and even a long time before, what about if we use in a class one of the person, even it could be Mr. Keshe, and he puts the hands as he would like to create the light between, or plasma between the hands, and we all knowledge seekers try to concentrate and give to that plasma which is concentrate between him hands to create that light. So it would be collective training in that way. So we put all attention to that part.
Yeah.
So it's
First,
not
you have to put. Sorry. First, you have to put away your barriers. So the biggest problem is that people don't have the habit to don't trust their own ability to create, and they don't realize that they create their own reality every day. Even if they say I have a bad day, that's the cause why they have a bad day in that time.
Yeah, but look, we can do this. So then later we discussed why we didn't manage, and we learning like that. We exercising. At the moment, we all have a lot of knowledge about many ways, and we actually know these all ways is not full. If they, I mean, is not complete, because if they would be complete, we all will be lightened. So this is training, and with guidance of Mr. Keshe, by knowing the plasma, he could guide us. He could maybe point us to mistakes.
So if we all imagined ourselves as a plasma fields where we're giving and taking between each other within the group, and where as we give and take amongst each other, just like a plasma field, the total field itself gets stronger and stronger and stronger until it's able to carry its own weight.
Certainly, some group training would be very useful. And we should take example from, for instance, from a green pepper, how the seeds of the green pepper can agree to create a shape together. So we are in the big challenge of how to build a plasmatic body shape of a spaceship, and you see every tomato and every melon or every pumpkin can do that.
But maybe you're making it too hard. Maybe it's more about allowing the universe to help us create what it is that's the best for our desires.
Yeah, it comes back to responsibility. I think it comes back to our ability to take responsibility. We have to get rid of the old bad habits which we have got through bad experiences or through bad training.
You know what I think? Remember when Sohel did with CO2 and the frequency, you know, with sound, and then they could they tune in the same wave, I would say. And I'm thinking, like, if we want to create something, we all have to be tuned in one specific emotion.
You're right.
Of course,
and that's the emotion that I was talking about how important this whole activity is, and how it's important for all of humanity, what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish.
So would it be this answer to Sandor on your comment of the people? They don't need to believe, or they can do, or they cannot. All what they need to feel that emotion, and just or this emotion could be wish to see this light for peace.
Yeah,
Like
thank you
sign
for
of the
bringing
peace.
on the table the emotions. Thank you very much for bringing on the table the emotions. You know, human emotions, going from the dead state of being dead, going up. You see, there is a dying, there is a making amends just to stay alive. There is an apathy. There is a there is a property, the grief. There is a level of propitiation. There is fear with its nuances of terror, numb, or just running away, or anxiety when they cannot decide in which direction to go, but cannot hold the place. There is a hate, there is a resentment, there is a anger, there is a pain, there is an emotion of hostility, there is antagonism, there is monotony, there is boredom, and from here on, starting the positive emotional levels like being contented, having a mild interest, being conservative, just holding the status quo, having a strong interest, being cheerful, being enthusiastic, or being aesthetic. And it goes up, up, up. And I think the desirable emotional state for what you propose is the emotional state of serenity. Now the problem with emotions is it's not that they are emotions, because every emotion has its own role in the life. For instance, the emotion of fear is good to run away in the face of a real danger, but the problem is people have fear without being in danger actually, because their mind confuses them. And the problem is with emotion when somebody has a chronic emotional state. So is not moving out from a chronic state and just stays all the time anxious and fearful, or just giving up things. That's the problem. The non-changing chronic states. If you are always cheerful, for instance, you behave like a maniac. So somebody died and the people around are grieving, and you are very cheerful and happy. That's not normal. You understand? But, you need to help the people to get free to move according to their own in the whole scale of emotions, because it's a full scale, like you tune a string from the lowest frequency to the highest. So are the emotions. And productivity, for instance, starts above enthusiasm,
yeah,
where
but
people
those
are into the things and like to contribute. And how you go up in the emotional scale to the serenity, when you have no expectations and your wish is your command.
Well, that's it. Those are mostly the human what we call human emotions, or emotions of the human side. And what would it look like on the soul level? And I would venture that there's, instead of having that full range, you have one of two states. There is either love or absence of love.
It's not so simple. Emotions are
well, it is simple.
scale.
It is simple in the higher realms, because you don't have to deal with all the emotions of the physicality. There's either love or absence of love.
The emotions
So what we call hate, what we could call hate, or even that full range of human emotions, is the absence of love, not love. Because love is unconditional. Love is, like in the true sense, it is totally unconditional and totally giving, and doesn't have all those traits of hate, resentment, and so on attached to it.
If hate is not it's not opposition of love. It's not.
That's right. It's the absence of love. That's what I'm saying. There's no opposition.
Hate is not a dichotomy with it. Actually, you have more and more love and more positive affinity, to say it scientifically, if you go on a higher emotional state, and that's reduced down to zero. So if you go up in the emotions, you can create more and more effect. If you go down, you reach to no effect at the state of death, and below you have imaginary effect, and only effort. And
Guys,
as you go down the scale, down the tone scale, you go more and more into effort. You want to do physical effort to achieve a result.
Right.
You see, like hostility, for instance, and anger, just solid effort, where communication gets very solid, sometimes with a stick.
Right. So
Words of kindness. And
preferably,
if you go up, you have more and more love, and you
yes,
reach
exactly.
unconditional total love if you reach up to serenity.
Well, my point is that will be the baseline where we'll have to be on a spaceship that's not of the physicality, at least, or half physicality and half not, or something like that. And it goes back to this statement here from Mr. Keshe that came up in the last workshop. Do I love enough to be a creator? And that means you have to be in that state of high love, of unconditional love, as a creator, which means
Take
we have to
example
go
from the sun.
right.
The sun gives its love, gets its energy, gets its heat and light to everyone without selection.
Right, exactly.
The sun doesn't say, "Okay, I give light to Rick because I like his way of giving presentation, but don't give to Sandor because he talks too much." It doesn't the sun gives unconditionally and doesn't expect anything in return. So that's
Right.
being
Well,
unconditional.
yes. So it's like a point from a point. You might say it's giving totally. It's also receiving at the same time. But that's right. It's love is it's rays. It's love is unconditional. It's all directions, all roughly the same, according to outside conditions.
Let me add here something. You said something very important about his receiving too. Yes, but there are different ways how to receive. You receive because it was granted, and you are happy with which was given to you, or you take with force sometimes, or take secretly, which is steal.
guys, can I share something?
Sure. You want to share your screen or share your mind?
No, I just mind, yes.
Okay.
Experience would be more correct. Some time ago, I learned hypnosis, and so I was trying to perfect it to do easier for the people to enter that state. And so when I start managing to connect the source myself, it gives me a completely different technique when I don't need to do these inductions. And the technique was water. You take a water and you speak with it, and you, like in this water, make contract that person will give the permission to solve help in the best way. So what Mr. Keshe says, you have to be available. So basically this is to give the permission to be available for a soul. So in this case, if we want to create that, we have to give this permission of take as much love you want from me to create this light between the hands. So this is giving permission, allowing take as much love. So it means to give as much love it's need. So because many doesn't need that much love from you. So but you keep it available. So that's the sun. The same. So I think this is, and what was interesting, I was just beginner when I just started practicing this hypnosis. And when I got this information, I didn't believe it would work. And so at that time I was inviting to Malta a lady who was been recommended by our teacher, like one of the 5 best hypnotherapists. So I was inviting her to come to Malta, and the idea was she will do the hypnosis on me. But when they give me this new type of practice, they said like you have to do this on hair, and I was like, no way, I'm like nobody, and there's coming someone so good, and I'm saying I will do on you, and this is okay. We have to work then on you, and they made it something interesting. It's I felt like the lightning went through my spine. All my body would start shaking. Um, it was shaking in a way like I quite fast, but I would never would manage to move it in this way. Sometimes when this energy goes through me again, the sofa on which I am used to meditate starts moving around. It's like vibrates. I cannot explain really, but the idea when this happened, they told me, "Can you explain what's happened with you?" And no way. So each time when you have a doubt, remember that. And they repeat a few times. They always they said like we will do it again. So it was never by force or something. It was always they allow me to give permission first. So when I met this lady, I told about everything, and she says, you know, if it's supposed to be, let's do. They told me before that I have to get specific glass, crystal glass. And at the time I thought like the crystal or I don't know, it's have meaning. Now after teaching of this Mr. Keshe, when he said about the shape, when you take the cone's shape, you concentrate energy and you can touch the emotion stronger. So the shape of the glass was exactly like that. Not martini, but I mean in that type of shape. It would be like half of egg, I would say. So I did this, and she just by drinking this water, which was hair's water, she was starting to become drunk, and she's saying already like going inside in the state without no talking, without nothing. In one point, to make story shorter, in one point she said, they want me to go to the toilet so you will be able to see how deep I am. And she couldn't walk. She was like totally drunk, I would say. This is how I would compare. And I was supposed to hold her hands to get her to the toilet. So it was just by drinking normal bottled water.
That's very sorry.
But with her giving permission to soul take over and do what it's supposed to do. There was a lot of things what soul was doing, but maybe this for another time.
Sorry,
Yeah.
you see what can happen in hypnosis. You cannot use your own basic abilities. You can't walk if it's done in that way. So hypnosis by itself is nothing else than transferring the responsibility to the hypnotizer. You're just giving up your own. You are giving up.
No. In this
Okay.
case, we try to connect with. There is different type of hypnosis. That maybe I should start with that first. There is hypnosis when you do suggestions. In this case, when we do, we go to the soul, and then the soul does the things. We don't do suggestion. We connect to the person's subconscious, and then the person's subconscious says why it's have this disease, why it's created, what is purpose of it, and how to get out from it. And we don't like if this is better for the person, and person give the permission. They remove the disease. Our teacher, she was like curing cancers and many things instantly. But when I'm saying she was doing, she was just sitting next to it. That source that person's subconscious was doing it itself. So there, to stop smoking. Yeah, yeah. When I was saying it, I thought like I'm supposed to say different. Even when we was doing hypnosis, we cannot say curing. We also support
Mm.
We're conditioned as cultures that we have these authority figures in white coats we call doctors, and they usually tell us, about these things, and so we've lost our own ability to discern, I guess, somewhat.
Let me add here. I know about hypnosis since a very young age, since the age of 14, 15. I studied. Later, I learned way as I was magician on stage. I learned also techniques of stage hypnosis, which means rapid induction and so on. And later, I had other experiences as well. So about hypnosis, I learned it's in fact it's a transfer of responsibility to the other. With hypnosis, you can do good for the hypnotized person because you can access that part of his mind which otherwise it seems not to be accessible for him because of some blockages like pain or memories of lost conscience or memories of failures in his time track. So you can access to some parts of the mind of the hypnotized person which otherwise he would not be able to easily access. And in that way, you can do something good for the person. But remember here, only about 20-25% of the human population can be hypnotized without being heavily drugged. So that may say something. Another thing
This
that
is your opinion, like our teacher who developed this system, who is like pioneer in it, and she's 50 years she was doing hypnosis, and in hers opposite, about 25% not can get in with this new type of system which she developed. And like when I did with this water, I felt it. There is no way anymore. You give this water permission and you drink it. So even like when they said that, I was asking like to more details. You give permission. You open the door, like let's say
yes, that's
Pandora
that.
door, and then wait, Sandor. The main thing will happen in your dream state, not on the hypnosis. Hypnosis is just beginning, just for your ego. Your soul knows the best way how to do. So you give the permission, your soul take care of you and guide you. So this is basically to shift from your thinking to your emotions.
Yeah, I agree with you, Modris. What you bring up, not so much the hypnosis part of it, but this idea of the giving and the receiving, and the willingness to share unconditionally. That's the key element of.
Yeah, thank you. Because I didn't want to go about the hypnosis. I want to go about giving permission to take as much love you need to create that light between the hands.
Exactly.
Exactly. Sorry, Modris, exactly you told giving permission. Exactly, that's what I told about giving up the responsibility to the hypnotizer.
No, but you don't give permission to the hypnotizer, you give permission to yourself. It's a different situation. It's entirely different situation.
You can do that. Listen to me, please. You can do that without any hypnosis.
Yes, but most people don't. So they need guidance to get to their subconscious. It's a subconscious for a reason, because most people cannot access their subconscious. You cannot voluntarily alter your brain waves to instantly go into the theta brainwave state where that subconscious is accessible. Most people need a tool of some sort. Most people need a meditation aid or some sort of thing.
To help you. You need a second
That's
person
why
to
there are
help you.
guides, and that's where there are teachers. Yes, generally yes, but it can be done on your own if you have the right devices, the right techniques. There's literally thousands or probably millions of techniques and so on to get into subconscious. It does not have to be through a specific hypnotic, technique. It could be through drumming, for example, has been used since millennia to get into a trance-like state where you're beyond your ordinary physicality, thinking, and machine responses, and you get into the subconscious where that becomes more available, and you can have
Yes,
insights and so on.
drumming is also very similar to the techniques of inducing hypnosis, because what happens? We have an attention. An attention is a motion which needs optimum randomity.
Okay,
So
wait,
something.
Sander.
Yes.
By going down this path of hypnosis, you're missing the boat. We're building a spaceship, and we're talking about how, as a group, we can all come together to build this spaceship. And
Thank you very
Moses'
much for
concept-
reminder. Thank you very much for reminder. I'm going to focus on the subject. Just I want to put away the blocks on the way. That's why, because hypnosis was brought up, I'd like to clarify some things about. So just give me 2 minutes, please, and we will go back to the building of the spaceship. So what happens? How hypnosis is possible? Which is an altered state of mind, let's say. Our mind needs an optimum randomity. Attention is a motion which it is working in a quite narrow bandwidth, which is optimum. You have a speed of sweeping of the attention from one object to the other, from one sensation to the other, and that has to be within a certain narrow band of optimum randomity. You see, when somebody is bored, he just needs some input, otherwise he gets asleep. And hypnosis is very similar to states of sleep. And the methods of inducing hypnosis are two ways. Both have the common denominator to take your attention out of your optimum randomity, which is for the wake state. So either it is by giving not many stimuli, not many information, not many things to observe. Like if you are immersed in a pool, for instance, or there is so much silence, or there is so much monotony, and everything is not changing too much, so it's less minus randomity according to the optimum compared to the optimum, or when it is a sudden too much information at once, which is a plus randomity. So both will kick you out from the awake state, and you get into that hypnosis or the state of mind which is altered. Drumming is one of the ways, like the monotony. You just say it's the same like the hypnotizer. It's showing you a spinning spiral for 5 minutes, or a moving pendulum with a shiny object on them. It's basically the same thing. I don't say
some would argue,
a bad thing, but it's not the way to go.
Some would argue that the subconscious state is actually the awakened state, and the state that we call our ordinary waking state is actually a sleep state, and that is the world of illusion. There's some cultures that believe that the sleep state is actually the real world, and the world that we normally see as humans is the world of illusion, for example.
So why don't we dream our lives, and why we live our dreams?
Say that again.
Why don't we progress the society by sleeping all the time, and
we do.
the contrary, by being active?
We do. That's the thing about it. We don't know how to sleep properly because we're not in the awakened state even in our daytime life. So how could we possibly know what we're doing? And
I say about
how do you say that?
optimum is to be at cause, and we go back to how to create a spaceship. It means to create something, not just to contemplate. It's a kind of activity. It's a creation.
Right.
And creation is not in a dream state. Creation is in a conscious wake state.
Yes, but not in our ordinary waking state.
What do you mean ordinary?
I mean, like right now. You think we can just instantly create a spaceship right now in this state?
Yes.
Why not?
Well, because we've been focusing on a bunch of other subjects like hypnotism and all this other discussion and talking and talking and talking, and I don't think anybody's been forming a spaceship during that time. I think we've been talking in our ordinary consciousness states, not in a high state of, do I love enough to be a creator?
So talking in random all directions will not bring the intentions together.
Exactly. That's my point.
So we have to focus on goal. We have to focus on goal. We have to focus on purpose.
Right.
So going back to what Moder said, I believe he was right. You know, when we all come to the table with this concept that we form a circle where we each are allowing our subconscious to give and take what we need to support the building of this spaceship, we start off on the right foot.
Yeah, personally, I don't believe in subconsciousness.
Let's try to redefine that word. I think that is a sticking point, let's say, because I think it's important. Wait a minute, let me finish. I just want to say that in terms of we need to have a common agreement on some of the words. Like we can't go forward on what John just mentioned because right away Shandor has an objection to that word. So now we have to clarify that before we can proceed to that next step. Basically, we all have to be on board with the common understanding.
From the studies from hypnosis, they said like there is many names to the same thing what we call. They said we don't care how you will call. We choose the name subconscious, higher self, emotional part.
What is the lower self then? If subconscious, which means low by definition, what does it mean? You say it's higher self, so what is the lower self then?
When you are in illusion, that state when you are not aware who you are.
I'm very aware of who I am, and I'm very, very, very aware of who you are. And I'm very conscious, and it's not about sub or under or higher self or lower self.
Are you?
This is just labeling. This is like, you know, when you call the brain waves, you call it like, you know, one is the higher, one is lower, and this is just a labeling. But the point is, what we're speaking about same thing. We speak about the emotional part, which is the direct connection to the soul.
So what is the right emotion? The purposeful emotion, which helps.
You know, anybody can have any emotion that they want that's of a higher vibration. Love is a good place to start. You know, I talked about, you know, the emotion of how important this whole thing is for all of humanity. And when you carry an emotion that's charged like that, it's of a higher vibration.
Yes, yes, you told a word, the higher vibration. Emotion is always a vibration. Emotion has a frequency. You can actually measure it. Lower emotions have a lower vibration, so a lower pace. And as you go higher on emotion, you are tuned to higher frequencies. And think about what happens if your frequency goes up to infinity. Doesn't it become a steady thing instead of being a wavy thing? So from AC you go to DC if you increase the vibration to infinity.
Hey, Sander, you know, the concept here is what we're trying to do is get a collective understanding to put together a group that can help us put together a spaceship.
Yes,
I see
yes.
what you're doing is you're fighting against all and everything that is being put forward to the point where nobody will ever be able to move forward as a group under that kind of condition. Are you on board with trying to create a spaceship, or are you believing that it can't be done, or are you believing that you understand something different, totally different than everybody else, and it needs to come out so that we can all get on board with what you're trying to tell us?
So I want to I want just to show you what does it mean to go to the frequency of infinity. You have, this is the variable of the intensity, the amplitude against time. So here you have the amplitude of the vibration, here you have time. So this is a low frequency. If you go to zero, you will have a straight line like the dead man. You see that straight line on electrocardiograph, for instance, when it's zero frequency.
I take exception right there. Are you saying that dead people have no nothing left?
No, I say about dead body, not about dead people. Soul never dies, only the body.
Okay, so you're just doing a graph of just the body functions here. Is that right?
Yeah, no, about the frequencies. At
Frequencies
zero
of the body, of the body, of the body, of the physicality you're talking about.
Not the physicality. I'm talking about frequencies. At zero.
Well, wait a minute. I'm confused here. You're saying that these are frequencies of what? Of the soul or of the body? The emotion. In the body.
Not in the body. Emotions.
Well, you said that when the body dies, everything goes flat. So is that true?
Not everything goes flat. The body functions go flat.
Okay, so we're talking about body functions here.
No, let's not make it more complicated. I try to present it simple. At zero frequency.
Well, this is where I need to.
At zero frequency.
When do you find zero frequency? Where does a being have zero frequency?
Let's say about electricity, if it's more convenient for you to not create emotional reactions, okay?
No, I want to see what in the universe has zero frequency.
DC. It's just flow. It's just flow with the constant amplitude. It's a constant flow.
Okay, how is that in terms of plasmatic structures? Do we have plasmas that have no frequency?
We will talk later about plasmas and how to apply
okay,
that.
Let me allow you to finish there.
Let me expose this short idea. It will take less than 1 minute.
Right.
So at zero frequency, you have no variations of the amplitude. You have a flat line in time. You have then lower frequencies and you have higher frequencies when the vibration increases. Now think about what happens if you increase the frequency up to infinity. Because these vibrations will become tighter and tighter, and finally, if you reach the infinity frequency, you get again a flat line, but it's a different level than this one. Although it looks the same. So here you have a DC in terms of electric current, for instance. Here you have a DC. In between, you have an AC. But this is infinity frequency, which is the frequency of the soul. It's infinity. It's DC. And you have intermediaries, which are the emotional states with different vibrations. So don't go to zero, to no motion. Go to infinity, where you have everything. From zero to infinity. This is what I wanted to say about DC and AC and the emotional states. So try to go to the highest emotion, not somewhere in between. And then here you get instant communication. Here you get everything instant. It's no time involved. So here you have time, you have a variation in time.
That's where this concept of the subconscious comes in, because it's an awareness that is in real time. compared to our beta brain or busy brain that's thinking and analyzing and figuring, which is always a few clicks behind real time.
What is subconscious? It's something which cannot be reached by consciousness, by awareness.
Well, it can be. It can be.
Aware of what happened in your state of so-called subconscious, it means it was conscious, so it's not existing any conscious.
Well, that's right. It can be become.
Things, let me finish, please. Only there are things you want to look at them, you want to perceive them, and there are things which you refuse to see them. And that's why you call it subconscious, because you refuse to see that. It's a reality which you refuse to observe it.
Right.
Think about why you refuse it, why you need to make it subconscious, and why not to be aware about the totality from zero to infinity, because you are able for that.
Well, that is the zero to infinity, is the subconscious, though. And if you become aware of that, then you're above it and beyond it, because then you're able to see it without reacting to it, perhaps. In other words,
let me say an
you
example.
have access.
Let me say an example. Somebody may be poisoned by alcohol. He had bad time. In last 10 years, he was living on the streets. And he sits on the stairs at the subway with an empty bottle on his knees and all peed. And he stays in his warm, lukewarm pee. And he's not conscious about that. In that case, the state of being peed, it's in his subconscious. He's not aware of it. Because why? Not because it's not there, only because he refuses to perceive that reality.
Right. So what if that person did instead perceive that reality and all other realities at the same time through the subconscious?
He had chosen a narrow band of being
yes,
aware.
That's
He's
what
only
I'm
aware
saying.
of his bottle is empty. That's his only
right.
awareness.
That's being in the beta brain and being in the other than theta brainwave frequency, and definitely not, conscious of slipping into lower consciousness. Yes, that's a different situation than operating with total and full awareness of the using what we call the subconscious. But when I look it up in Wikipedia, it ends up subconscious is a label that Sigmund Freud first put on, and it goes into a whole psychological thing, but then it was changed when the New Age literature came out, and the definition of it is much different now than the psychologists and psychiatrists, which have a more limited view, and so on. There's a lot of different work has gone on with this, and we could get into it in all kinds of different ways. They call it the collective unconscious is another word for it, which means you can access essentially all information through your subconscious. You have an access to the entire universe as opposed to just the very limited knowledge of our brain knowledge.
Thank you for bringing up the collective consciousness term introduced by Jung, the German psychoanalyst Jung, who is one of the followers of Freud.
That's right.
And this collective subconsciousness, what does it mean? Personal consciousness means that part of your memories which you are not aware of them and you cannot access easily. If you have a helper who is not affected by the emotions contained in your memories and the pictures of your mind, which you are keeping like a hard disk keeps records, in that case, he can help you to get them up with hypnosis or without hypnosis, just by putting questions and getting answers and just driving you.
Right.
So there is a personal subconsciousness. It's that part of your mind which you are not aware that you can access it because you have chosen not to access it for some reasons. And the collective consciousness of a group, because you have to say it's a group, for instance, the group of beings on Earth, it means those pictures and those memories which nobody can access it, but it's still there. It's a knowledge which is there. It's an information which is there, but everyone has chosen not to access it, and that's making it collective. It's still there. The question is to access it, to find out the point where you decided to not access it. It's up to your own decision whether to access parts of information or not. For instance, you were a kid and you had broken a vase, and you were afraid that the parents will tell some bad words about that. And that's why you hid at that. And when the father came home, you said, I didn't break that vase which is under the bed. And you decided not to look at it and not to take responsibility for it. That's why it became part of your consciousness. It's just an example. Don't take it personally, please. It's about responsibility. You take responsibility for your own awareness. In that case, you have a full ability, a full awareness. In case if anybody does anything to you, cannot reduce your awareness unless you agree with it, like you agree with the hypnotizer to be hypnotized.
Yes, but the point here,
give it up.
The point.
It happened long time ago in the history. Don't try to find it right now, here and now.
No, the point though is not that, Shandor, necessarily. It's more that there's a collective knowledge that can be accessed. We can actually access knowledge not just about this lifetime, but other lifetimes and other parts of the universe and other such things.
Yes,
it's not just
there. All the information is there. Why we decided not to access it?
Right. Well, that's because of various afflictions that are part of our forgetting of being born on this planet and so on.
I tell you a short story, simple from this lifetime to make it easy. I worked at a Japanese trading company, and we used not much computer. We used computer just as a text processor, but we kept all the data on paper files. And we have folders and files. Every customer and every item which he ordered had a folder. And we had tons of folders in the office after 5 years. And it happened to my Japanese manager to ask, oh, don't you know where is the folder with Constar? Yes, look at that pile from near the wall, and it's about 5 centimeters from the bottom up. And it was there, and he was wondering how you know about that. It was 2 years since we touched it last time. How you have such a good memory? I said, sorry, I try to behave in a way to not need to forget. So I take responsibility for my actions, whatever actions I do, and I don't do things which it would be inconvenient to remember. So I can remember comfortably, and I don't have to blame on bad memories that I don't know what I committed in the past, because I try to not commit things which are against my the command of my soul. Sorry, now I have to rush downstairs with a pack of papers to somebody. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Am I wrong in the desire to move forward with the spaceship? Well, for some reason, we keep getting so distracted that we lose sight of what it is that we're trying to do.
Well, that's the thing. The distractions are our work in a way, because that's what we need to handle in order to progress in any kind of meaningful way.
Yeah, but it's
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's kind of frustrating, listening to conversations that are they're kind of off topic a little bit, and maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Well, what I've been listening, trying to stay out of this as much as I can. What I've been hearing, I don't want to blame anybody. I'm not putting any onus on anyone. This is just something, just a thought process that I'd like to express. And that is a lot of the confusion and a lot of what is almost an argument coming out tonight seems to be based on varying definitions of words. Now, one that's jumped out really, really in a very strong way is the use of the word responsibility. Responsibility doesn't mean culpability. Responsibility means the ability to respond. Everyone has the ability to respond. Some people choose not to respond. That's not taking responsibility. Culpability is different. Sandor's example of the child who breaks the vase has nothing to do with responsibility. It has to do with culpability. The child doesn't want to be culpable for his actions, so he buries it and he hides it. The subconscious, again, is another one where it's not a lower consciousness. It's simply one that's not within our awareness at this time. There are ways, very, very simple ways of accessing and questioning your subconscious, getting yes or no answers to it. And the easiest way to do it is a strength test. You hold your arm out, you ask a yes or no question, and you have someone press down on your arm. If it moves very, very easily, that's typically a no answer. If there's a lot of resistance, it's typically a yes answer. A number of doctors have been using this to access the subconscious and to alter people's core unaware operating system, because that's basically what it is. You've got this operating system running within your brain, because your brain is just a computer. It's just a receiver transmitter. It's I view it as like a remote, really cool remote control car. And you've got an operating system that is the autonomous system. It just runs everything, runs your heart. You don't think about it. It is below your awareness. And you've got your aware operating system. It's no different than all of the neat things that happens in Windows or in the Mac OS system that you never even see happening, but you've got these programs that you can bring up and you can use them. One isn't higher than the other, one isn't lower than the other. It's just a different state of what we're working with. And we do work with our subconscious every day. We all do it. So a lot of the arguments that are coming out, which I agree, some of the stuff does need to be expressed, and I applaud everybody for standing up and expressing it. But try to expand your definitions a little bit. Instead of, when you hear a word and it just doesn't quite ring true in your head, just sort of step back a little bit and go, well, how does that apply? And see if you can expand your definitions a little bit so that you can see from that other point of view how it works. You don't have to agree with it, you don't have to adopt it, but it is necessary to be able to see it.
Good point. Thank you. Yeah, I know what you mean, the other John, about distractions and so on. But it hasn't been until now the intention of this group necessarily to be here creating a spaceship. This is a group that gets together and kind of prepares for the Thursday workshop, and it has been a place for experimenters to show their experiments, not a place to create the spaceship, because well, we were all trying to create the spaceship through those experiments and so on, but it was through a different manner, more of the physicality, or through the GANs, or through the nanomaterials, or through the gases and so on. This is a more direct method that we're trying to engage in by becoming plasma manipulators rather than the GANs and nano manipulators, you might say. So it's a different process that we have to go through, and we just have to have the agreements among each other, essentially giving permission. And whenever there's a bit of resistance, then that's like not giving permission, so we have to work through that resistance, and in order to come to a common understanding. And like with Shandor, I know that he wants to, create a spaceship, and I know that I do, and it's just a matter of getting our common understanding together, and agreeing that certain words mean certain things and don't mean others, and trying to get rid of the connotations and other problems with certain words that can cause a bit of tension inside of us, because we have to be relaxed and able to allow that flow to happen in order to have things happen. So a lot of it is in preparation, I guess I'm saying, to prepare to get to the place where we can actually do some work together to create that light or spaceship or whatever we wish to agree to create. And there is also the spacecraft construction crew on the community.keshefoundation.org site that people can sign up for, and that is specifically to create the spaceship. That'll be the goal of that group to meet and to do that task. We can do that here, though. That seems to be the name of the game now, so let's carry on with it. Okay, I hear some breathing there. I think it's John. No, it's Salma. You want to say something, Salma?
I just want to say my thoughts,
Okay.
because this is more than physical. Physical, we can understand, we can look through, we can do anything. But emotion, there are so many degrees. Say one is vibration. You attach to the vibration. Maybe the next step is moving of the veil, where you can see. There is the second emotion. Or maybe the third emotion, where you understand and you know the gateway to the emotion at any time and space. Just to make everybody understand, this person is talking about vibration, this person is talking about veil, this person is talking about gateway. So which one do we want to concentrate? Thank you, Rick.
Okay, got most of that. There's a bit of interference coming through on your microphone there, but we got most of that I think. Okay, so I'm going to mute you, Salma, because you've got quite a bit of interference coming through there on the sounds. You can unmute yourself when you wish. Okay, so where are we now? Where do we wish to go from here, I guess, is one... what is it the Microsoft saying? Where do you want to go today? What is it you wish to do today?
Well, like
Rick,
it was
Modric,
like. Oh, go ahead, Modris.
I just want to ask completely different, just for Rick. We were thinking with manuals, but we do like some teaching between us, like, discuss something, and maybe if something good comes up, I was thinking maybe we could use the Zoom if it's available at that time, and we can record, and maybe if it's okay, we can even like upload to YouTube. And I have another two people who are thinking to share it, like teach a bit.
You're
And,
saying for when? For the spaceship construction crew, you mean? Or for this?
about the like, I have a few people who are interested in plasma, and I was thinking, instead of using Skype, I could use the Zoom and record and how I teach them, and maybe I can publish it in a YouTube, and some people can also learn from the
I
people.
see what you're saying. Yeah. I think you can do that. Check with Vince, though. That's the best way to do. There's a limited number of Zoom lines available. I think you can do it for free, up to 45 minutes. Sign up for Zoom and get your own Zoom channel. It works for free for up to 45 minutes, and I think up to 25 or 50 people or something. That'll probably do for you, although you might be limited with the time, in which case you could get a special account with Vince, perhaps. So,
But I was thinking maybe like, because this workshop, what you do, it's like once a week. Maybe in the at another time when it's available, we can use it. What about that? Or it's not a good idea?
well,
Just
for
not
me, I just don't have any more time. It really takes a lot out of me just to do this. But if you want to do it, then yes, you can. That's
because that was the idea, because I
right.
was messed up the days, and I logged in the same account, and it's like when I went in, it was like I was a host, and I like can invite and like do these things. So I left it, but I thought like that's why it stayed in my mind. Like maybe we can use like for these things, and maybe when we make this site like the community, I mean. We can leave these things open as well for some people if they have some, they're sharing some test or some experiment.
Yeah, there'll be room in the community site for you can post photos. You can there'll be a chat, and we'll trying to incorporate the Zoom actually into it as well to make it all sort of seamless and easy to operate in that way. So yeah, we're working on that for sure, and for the groups especially.
Question. Can I use your that one, this one, what you use now?
That's probably not a good idea. No, I think you have to have your own number or something there.
Okay. So I'll then speak with Vince and.
Yeah, check with Vince is the best idea.
I've used my free account a number of times, and it's gone way past 45 minutes.
Is that right? Yeah. And you can record for that time and everything. It's
yeah,
all good.
some of them it did. It stopped at 45 minutes, and those were just simple playing around. I was discussing with Libby on the East Coast about making pens and GANs in the process, and we went on for like 2.5 hours.
That sounds good.
Also, with the free account, with the 45-minute limitation, it's not really a big deal. You'll get a notice that you have 10 minutes left. You
just
empty
restart.
your thought, stop your thought, and say, "Okay, everybody, I'll post another room in Skype," and you go back and do another room. It's a little inconvenient, but it does work.
Yeah.
Rick?
Yes.
Oh, hi. This is Anibar. Hi, guys.
Hi, Anibar.
I entered a little late to the meeting. No, I was thinking that I don't know if you share the thought, but we are entering a field, of course, not material, not physical, not a field that we cannot perceive with our senses. So in a certain way, we need to get accustomed that those fields, plasma fields, do exist and interacts with matter. And I was watching, I don't know if you have 4 minutes. I was watching a video, I don't know, I want your opinion. Because this is about the Qigong. Did you hear about this Qigong?
Yeah.
These guys handle the energy. I don't know if it is, I don't think it's fake. I think it's real. And I got a video here from YouTube. It's only 4 minutes, and maybe I can share it on the screen with you and take a look.
No, I can't play YouTube videos. It's a broadcasting infraction, so I can't do that, I believe.
No, I can do it. Share my screen. I don't know.
That's what I mean. It's on my live stream though, and it's on we're recording it, so it gets broadcast into the world. And when you broadcast someone else's video, you need permission from that person to broadcast it first of all.
But it's not public?
It doesn't matter if it's public. You can't just use other people's copyrighted videos to you can't just start a site and start broadcasting other people's videos. No, you can embed them in the site, and there's ways of doing it.
YouTube owns it.
Pardon me? What?
I said if it's a YouTube video, YouTube owns it.
That's right.
But
and so we can give a link to it. We can give a link to it, and people can watch it on their own. And then
I can send the link, and you can watch it yourself.
I think I've seen that one. Is it of the fellow that?
It's a 2010 International Shaolin Federation. So these are serious guys, and it's a demonstration, only 4 minutes, and really they move energy. It's a group. It's a demonstration. It's not a fight or something like that. Nothing to do with that.
Why don't you put the link in the chat, and then we can have a look at it. That would be good.
Yeah, because I just want to know if your opinion, because it really, let me put it.
Well, these guys have been working with internal energies for literally centuries or longer, probably longer.
That's our path now. It's better to get accustomed to this.
Well, our path is slightly different, but yes, there's many groups and most Aboriginal groups around the world work with these kind of energies just as part of their nature, and it's mostly our industrialized countries and our industrialized cultures that have forgotten lost our
Yeah.
connection with this kind of thing because we're not in touch with nature, we're not in touch with the earth, we're not in touch with the sky, and mostly we're just in touch with our computer keyboards and the accelerators on our cars. So, that's about it basically, and we've lost many of our. One could argue that instead of evolution, we've had a de-evolution of our cultures and society in that sense. But on the other hand, we do have other abilities now. I think everyone is getting a general upgrade to their evolution in the next while. It has been over the last few years probably, and that means that everything's upscaling, and the animal kingdom they're all getting smarter and more attentive, and it passes right down through to bacteria and all the way up to major changes in the whole universe, I believe. So I think that we're fortunate to be in this point in time where things are so, in a way, becoming more plasmatic, more liberated, more loosened up, you could say. We got all kinds of energies become available and so on. So therefore, with certain techniques that used to be only known to some little shaman in a... I got to mute Salama here. You're breathing too much in your microphone. Okay, where was I?
It's me? No.
No, it was Salama was having a microphone. The microphone's too close to your mouth, and I could hear you breathing quite a bit there. It's going through into the live stream. So, anyway, where was I? We've all received a general upgrade. Therefore, we should be able to take advantage of that now by just opening ourselves up with techniques that are now known commonly. You can pick up books on everything from hypnotism, like we've been talking about, to shamanic rituals, to ancient religious beliefs and rituals, and you name it, it's all out there now. So what used to be only a certain clique of people, usually a guild or maybe a certain religion, and only a very small part of that religion or some small group that wasn't able to broadcast the information publicly, they used to be the holders of this special knowledge of how to access these inner states, these inner emotional places, and be able to access all knowledge of the universe and that kind of thing.
Sorry for interrupting, but just a quick comment. But that's the only concern I have. That's why last time I was thinking in intermediate steps. Like doing something at the macro level at least. Of course, Mr. Keshe is pointless.
What's the concern again? Could you say that?
Well, the concern is that all the people that develops these powers, let's say, or abilities, they really focus their whole life, like the meditation or these temples, and they don't have a city life, let's say, a regular life. So to get to that point where you can materialize things or manipulate the plasma, maybe the circumstances has changed and we are not aware of that. But
absolutely. Look at advertising agencies. They use every trick in the book basically to get through into the emotional. They don't advertise to our busy brain usual consciousness. They advertise directly into the subconscious. They know how to manipulate it. They are taught, and that's how they do things. And that's why we should be very careful about things like watching TV and just being under all the different impressions that are given out. That's why it's so difficult to be awake in a city. You've got everything shooting at you to get your attention from every angle. It's just a constant mass.
Yeah,
but to say that we don't have people in the city that are high shamans are high in some sort of spiritual way that are able to look at it as a plasmatic structures and so on. Look at, Mr. Keshe as an example, or we could name others that are able to work in any environment as a plasmatic environment. And it doesn't matter whether they're in the city, in the country, or in space, because they operate from a different dimension. It's not from the physicality. Therefore, that stuff doesn't attract them and get them enmeshed as much as most of us.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yes, but I was, not concerned, but I don't know how long it takes to develop this ability to be able to, even without seeing in a physical way any shape or object or whatever, um, use it in a certain way or create our own vehicle of plasma, um, out of our own energy, our own handling of the energy of our emotion interacting with the environment.
Well, we have to
Sounds like a
practice.
long
That's the
path.
thing. We have to practice, and that's part of why we're together here. And first, we have to be able to deal with any objections or ideas that is it possible, and there's others, and so. Well, yes, it is possible. There are others, and we can do it too. But we do have to practice, and we have to find ways to do that with each other that are our ways, not necessarily the Shaolin monk or the high-tech shaman or whatever it happens to be, but our way of doing it. So part of that is we have to overcome any objections first that it's possible to do, and then we have to actually work toward doing it. And we can work toward doing it right now at any moment and all moments, because the way I look at it is if you want to get into the spaceship and be a spaceship captain or whatever it is you want to be, it is more or less a full-time job, and it's not something just for casual
Yeah,
casual
exactly.
ventures. You don't
Yeah.
just casually and go to Alpha Centauri and kind of space out halfway there and think, oh, I think I'd rather be back on Earth on the beach or something. All of a sudden, bingo, you're back on Earth on the beach, but half the spacecraft went with you and the other half is out in space somewhere. So that would not be so good. So we have to learn to sort of cultivate our attention and our abilities that way, which are latent. They're latent human abilities, but we have obscured
What
them.
about to be in many places at once?
Yes, that's also another technique that can definitely be done. I swear Vince does that all the time when he's multitasking with several different back-end servers and talking on the chat at the same time and so on. But yeah, in a way, that's true. I mean, we could literally be on, for example, gaming with a gaming character on 5 different games all at the same time and talking here and able to, watch the stars out the window and do several other tasks perhaps, and maybe do it all consciously and not just out of a habitual kind of reflex action. That's part of it. I see Salma has a hand up here, so I'd like to say something. Let's respond to that. I'll unmute you there. I don't know if you can. Go ahead.
Rick, I already posted something in chat. That's what I was trying to put across. Can you read the chat, please? Yeah, can you read that? I was trying to put that across.
Yes, understanding individual level of emotion like vibration, veil, or gateway, and understand each other with trust and love.
Yeah, infinite frequency, it means steady. So it's a DC.
Yeah, that's correct. That's totally correct. Oh my gosh. Whoa.
Something happened. Something dropped.
My fan went to the floor.
Okay, that's what it was. Minor trauma. It says spaceship
So
still
what is the
intact.
frequency? The frequency is going from here to there, to the minimum value to the maximum value. And at infinite frequency, you are on the both in the same time. Can you understand that?
Yes, except in the plasma theory, there is no frequencies, so that's a bit of an issue.
It's infinity frequency. It means that it's no variation.
I've never heard.
Same time, you are instantly at the both two terminals.
Yes, I understand, but the thing is that Mr. Keshe said there is no frequency. The universe does not use frequency, he says.
Yeah, because plasma is at the infinity frequency.
Well, I don't know.
It's here
I
and
think,
there in the same time. It's instant communication.
yeah, all right.
What happens at a distant star? That you can perceive it here in the same time instantly.
Right.
So vibration would be when there are two people face to face to each other, and they're passing the ball one to the other, and the other is passing the ball back. So now how about if both have a hold on that ball in the same time? I'm just trying to give illustrations by such examples. Don't take it literally. Not at all, because love is not belonging to the matter level. True love, it's out of the matter level, and frequency is the characteristic of the matter level.
Right. So in a way, they identify their, well, what we might call a frequency or the connection. They identify it by saying, for example, "I love you," as this indicating a connection. This you could call it plasmatic connection.
Yeah, it's not about saying "I love you," because saying doesn't mean anything more than the words, but it means to love. You know, the mother loves its child without telling "I love you," but still she loves.
Well, I meant to say that the saying of it is just an indicator of the state or indicator of that level at the time, and actually is not quite correct, because when that state happens, there's no I and you so much. It becomes sort of I, you, love, and it's sort of all mixed up, you might say, or all one thing. So that dichotomy.
Love means no condition. Love means no dependency on conditions. So I love you if you will bring home $5,000 per month. That's not
right.
love.
Right. So the kind of love that we would need to run a spaceship would be the previous one, let's say, the kind that is more or less, if not completely, unconditional. So we would have to learn how to accept each other in the spaceship virtually unconditionally, in spite of the objections to certain thought forms or cultural differences or color differences or whatever else triggers that we might have. So we have to learn to get beyond our own triggers, you might say. So I had to mute you again.
Accept the other being as it is, without willing to change it.
Yes,
right. So many times couples come together and they try to change them. So the man tries to slim the woman to look like a mannequin instead of looking like a woman, mother of children. And the woman tries to change the man, so doesn't like that he talks too much to his friends and goes to a football match or to baseball and so on. That's when one is willing to change the other in order to make it more agreeable. That's not love. That's not unconditional love. It's a limiting.
Right. Yes, that's a very it's a hard place to be in because you have to know and understand and allow so much that it can be totally overwhelming.
You can help the other if you believe that you can make him to become better, not to make him, but to give him the chance to learn how to do something in a better way. But you can teach that by helping, by showing a good example. And it's not that you don't like somebody because of the way how he is. You have to accept the other in the way he is. And in that case, eventually you can have a good, peaceful relationship.
Someone wants to say something here. I'll unmute him again, but I had trouble with the microphone noise there. So go ahead.
Yeah, Rick, about vibration. How about heartbeat?
What was that? Hug me? Is that what you said?
Heartbeat. You know, your
Heartbeat? Yeah, it's really hard to hear your audio. I don't know what's going on there, but it's quite muffled. Your microphone is not very good or something. But go ahead, try again.
heartbeat.
Heartbeat, yeah.
So that is resonant, vibrate.
Well, a resonance or a pulse is different than a vibration, or different than a frequency necessarily.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
that would be the distinction, where things in the universe work through pulse and do have cycles and so on. But the idea of measured frequencies as part of that, like the universe doesn't measure things out that way normally.
Okay.
I
Thank you,
think
Rick.
that's the idea.
Thank you. Another
Okay.
thing, Tesla said the Earth sounds like a bell.
The Earth sounds like a bell?
Yes, Tesla said that.
Oh, Tesla. Yes, yes. Yeah, it resonates at 7.83 hertz. Or at
Yeah,
least
like a bell.
the ionosphere resonates at that frequency, and the Earth are approximately at the same frequency. Like a bell, yes.
Yeah, that could even be universal.
Well, not really, because that so-called frequency is, number one, it's even hard to measure, and it's on multiple harmonics, and it's varying constantly, and so on. So I'm not convinced that frequency exactly would be. It's like if you feel like you need to ground yourself, you're not trying to tune into a certain frequency, you're trying to tune into the earth. You feel the earth. You don't tune into 7.8 hertz. There I'm down to 6 point, no, I got to go back up to 8.3. You could sort of visualize a dial and try to dial it in, but it's easier to just go direct to the source and feel the earth rather than mentally try to figure out the frequency.
Okay, Rick. That might be in the physical things, in the physical realm, rather than the plasmatic.
Yeah, I think so. And that's the way Mr. Keshe, like I've always been into frequency most of my life, and I work with devices that are supposed to work with frequencies such as the Schumann Earth harmonic, and using harmonics from radio waves, which are all around us and so on. And normally they're measured in frequencies, but again, you could say, you could look at it as all waves in turn is different than individual frequencies. And so there's different realms that do use that terminology, but I think that as we move into the plasmatic realm, we'll have to have a different language other than frequency.
Okay, okay, Rick. Thank you. I understand that this might be the physical realm and not the plasmatic realm.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
believe that's true. I believe that's true. If we look at the electromagnetic spectrum that's so popular in all of its exact frequencies, but yet it's missing all of the stuff. Where's the feeling frequency on that electromagnetic spectrum? You won't find it there. So why is it they missed that entire spectrum? It's
Yeah,
because
I
they got
understand.
exact into trying to measure frequencies, and that was a fallacy there.
Okay, I understand when Mr. Keshe says light got no frequency. So I
Right.
conquer no idea.
Yeah. That was an interesting concept he brought up, that light does not have a frequency. And again, that would probably get a lot of scientists into disagreement and so on, no doubt. Okay, so
Rick, you can mute me now.
okay, thank you. Appreciate your comments. Thanks for putting your hand up and stuff there. It makes it helpful.
So, yeah, something, Rick.
Yes?
No, it's supposed that we need to be train ourselves to work just with ourselves and the environment and nothing else, right?
Well, let's say that's the ultimate ideal. I don't know if we can, like Mr. Keshe gave it, the diagrams of the matter level, the nano level, the GANs level, and so on, and then the plasma level and the plasma manipulators level. And people fall into these different general categories and tend to focus on either the matter level, the nano level, and so on, or they go on to become, in the plasma or plasma manipulator level. I don't know where any of us will end up when it comes right down to it, and probably we don't know either, but we might find ourselves working on a matter level spaceship. We might find ourselves working on a spiritual level spaceship. We might find ourselves working on both, or both at the same time, or one before the other, or I think it's become sort of a wide open game right now, and we all have to find our own position, you might say, and depending on where our attention gets attracted, what is it that we're interested in, and what is it that holds us back from going all the way, and what does that really mean?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I see, or I feel that one has a tendency to work with physical stuff, of course, because like Mr. Keshe says, we are too attached to material or physical, because we are physical here.
And visual, very much visual. He said the eyes were one of our worst organs, because we keep thinking that what we see is what really is there when it isn't.
We need to confirm existence through the sight. Yeah, I see that that's the path. But at the same time, Mr. Keshe is saying that, there is not much time left. You understand what I mean? So we can play. I was thinking, well, I would like to play, for some time now and try to build something on my own and experiment and so on and so forth. But at the same time, we have like a deadline. That's why it's frustrating in a certain way for me, because I'm wanting to do something, but at the same time, I know it's a waste of time to work at the matter level.
Can I stop you there? I'm gonna jump in.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
I'm gonna stop you. I've listened to all this morning. No way. No way. Well, when the doctor tells you got 1 month to live, do you go and sit in the chair, wait to die?
That's
No.
right.
I
Yeah.
know
So
many people, when they are given a date time, they do as much as possible and they do everything. And then the doctor says, sorry, I made a mistake.
Oh, yeah, that's
I remember, thank you for
Okay.
that. I remember my father, he had a second of the cancer operation and his days were already limited. And my mother used to tell him, why are you working so much? Because he was trying to do as much as possible. He was beekeeper and he was building the frames for hives and so on. And when my mother told him, why are you working so much? Why don't you relax? He said, what shall I do? Shall I sit on the small chair and just wait for the death to come for me?
No, but the thing
We are
is,
doing as much as
this
possible.
is, you see, this is exactly the wrong mentality, because what we said, even what we said yesterday, the more you give, the more you receive. Even if you know your time is close, the more you give, that by the time the time arrives, you have more to carry in elevating the others. People are reading totally the wrong way in this process. The shorter time you have, it means you can give more. And most of you go back. You go back in, so we don't have much time. If there is not that much time, if you think it's there, it happened to us a few years ago. A guy we saved from death with cancer, and then he was happy. He said, nothing can kill me except the double bus decker hitting me. And what happened? He went to hospital a few months later and they gave him the wrong injection and he died.
Ooh.
I've said this a few times. A lot of people know. So you are not conditioned. Your condition is, again, back to physicality. What do I do? There is not time. There is more time left than ever to give more. If you were Jewish and it's been stacking it, that I'll do it enough the time, it's time to open the wallet, to serve better. And I hear this, a lot of people, Caroline keeps saying, oh, there's not much time to. There is enough. One day is far too long, let alone 2 years or 10 years or 30 years. If you're there and you can contribute, develop to serve, then the time comes, because you can go to a space and die just on the edge of the earth, or you can go to the other side of the universe to live for millions of years. This attitude has to change. You're still working. When people speak this way, it means you're attached to physicality still.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I've got to go for a quick meeting. I'll come back. Okay, but please don't speak this way, because it means the physicality rules the soul, and this is not our way.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Hannibal, you put the question about the physicality, the tools in physicality needed to do something because you are touched so much. So I have a question. So did the creator need it first to create hands to be able to create the rest of the world?
Well, Shandor, don't compare me with the creator, please.
No, it's just a question. That's the quiz. That's the quiz. Just think about.
Yeah, you're right. I understand what you're saying, but we are well. I think from my point of view, I'm trying to be practical, and I think that we are human beings, still human beings, in a path of getting rid of this conditioning we have. Is that correct?
Yes, let me give an example of conditioning and how people get attached to the technology. So my father-in-law, Viktor Stepanovich, he worked in the taiga in Siberia at a Gazprom gas pumping station on a duct. And they were quite isolated on the peninsula, and it was not safe to walk outside too far, and they needed to go there by helicopter, all wilderness around. And they got a team of German engineers who planned to use some special video cameras which would go through the gas pipes inside to film the interior to find out where are the defects, where is need some maintenance and so on. And when the team arrived, they were quite many, and they said, "Oh, it's no good drinking water here. They don't want bottled water." So they said they'll need to dig a well to have fresh water. And they said they ordered already a magnetometer, a special magnetometer, which costs about 200,000 euros, and that will be shipped within the next 2 weeks. It will be shipped to detect where is water underground. And my stepfather told them, "Oh, you want to dig a well? You need to find where the water is." So no problem. He took 2 pieces of wire, metal wire. He just bent them and used the old dowsing technique. And he asked, "What kind of water you want? Which taste to be? How deep?" And he showed them where to dig. It was no need for that technology. We all have abilities which we forget because we have technology. As I've seen so many teenagers in the past 15 years that they lose the ability to talk each with other because they used to text. They always are texting by their phone, recently by the smartphones. And when they are face to face, they just cannot talk because they are attached so much to texting. So be careful with the habits. It's always good to find the ways how you can do it something in easier way without to have special tools for that. And that's why Mr. Keshe told people of Africa maybe will be able to build a spaceship much easier and much faster than other people from countries with high technology, because they are not bound so much to the need of tools, of materiality, of material tools.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So,
just
Shander,
ask yourself how to make fire without having a lighter or matchsticks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Shander, in terms of frequency, do you think that Diviner used anything in terms of frequency, or even thought about frequency, or he just grabbed it and he knew what to do, as opposed to that $200,000 machine, which would be all about frequencies, probably?
Yeah, frequency is about material level.
Oh, I can
Right.
explain the dowsing fairly well. I do it. I learned how to do it when I was really, really young. And all you do is you hold the feeling of water, what it feels like to drink it, what it feels like to be in it, just the feeling of water within you as you walk around, and your energy will find that space. And again, we're going back into the subconscious thing. Your subconscious tilts your hands and makes the rods go together. It's not a mystical thing. It's inherent in anybody. Anyone can do it.
Uh-huh.
So it's proven
Excellent
at least 40% of population can learn dowsing in 1 hour.
Huh.
At least
Or
40%
less.
Well, there you go. If 40% of the population can learn dowsing in 1 hour, then perhaps that we can actually create a spacecraft in an hour as well with the right crew. It should instantly, perhaps.
So following what being said about the water, feeling the water, keeping present in mind and feeling the flow of water, how it feels, and at the same time handling these bars, metal bars, you will tune into the water. Maybe we can use our imagination to create the template, let's say, the template in our minds, and then it will be a task of, feeling how it will be inside, or how to handle it, or driving it, or something like that. Use our creative part, which is imagination.
Mhm.
Could be that the
You
way.
would create the energetic space first. You would go into your mind, into your imagination, which is actually the reality,
Mhm.
and create the system there, what it feels like to be there, the smells, the sounds, everything. You just imagine what it is to be there, and the more focused, the more clear that image can be, the stronger that energy will be brought into the physical.
But the only problem in this case is at least I never been in a spaceship, so I don't know how it feels inside. Or
then you're
It
not
doesn't
then
matter.
you're not limited, so you've got
If you don't
unlimited range.
Invent one.
Yes.
Yeah,
what would
yeah.
be your dream spaceship?
What I mean is, it's easier when you already saw something physical like the water in this case, and you have the memory or the feeling when you are creating something new, brand new. Well, it's a
It's
matter of
difficult.
training, of course.
There
The
is a low
biggest.
scale of creation. Sorry.
That's probably the biggest problem of being a creator. There you are. You've got a blank slate, starting out with a big void, and you've got all energy and all everything available, all possibilities, all complete. You're in complete potential. You have this enormous potential. What do you do?
Yeah.
Be like the
And
artist
whatever your first thought that comes out, that is your creation.
But you
That's
know
what goes out.
what I think that a good idea could be just draw something first. Draw something,
That's right.
a paper, and start making details or drawing more and more details, and that image will create the base to start doing something.
Sure, that can work. What Tesla used to do, he's told stories about his technique, which is he would actually create his inventions in his mind. So he'd have this machine with shafts and different, magnets and so on. And he would start it rotating in his mind, and then he would allow it to continue to operate. And over a period of a month or two or three, he would have this machine continuing to operate in his mind until certain parts wore out, and then he would see he would know what to fix and how to go about it. And then he said when he went and actually made his inventions, had them commissioned or produced, they always worked according to the way he thought they would.
Paper it's a nice tool to make a material picture, but it's limited to 2 dimensions only. If you work in clay, in clay, at least you have 3 dimensions, but still you are bound to materiality. So it's good to get trained to not construct from materials, but to create just by imagination.
Right. Our visualization not only has 3 dimensions, but we can move things through space in there. It's 4 dimensions, and we can also move that entire structure through space. That's 5 dimensions at least that are accessible through our visualization.
That's a good idea, Shandor. Yeah, you are right. The 3-dimensional, and then it's like the architects. They build a maquette, how they call it, the small scale of the building they will develop.
The model.
And, the model, the model.
Yeah, first it comes the idea of having a bridge over the river. First it comes the idea only. And later you will start drawing it from your own mental creation, just for the purpose to communicate with others or to look at it from an external viewpoint.
Yeah, I think it's handy to have reminders. Go ahead, sorry.
I'd like to bring in a viewpoint from the folks who teach manifestation, not in a plasma sense, but in the spiritual sense. And what they're very adamant about is don't limit the universe. Don't tell it you want a blue truck with silver mags. Just say you want a truck and let it come to you, and it will come in exactly the form that you need it to be. So I'm a little reluctant about the sussing out all of the details of the ship, because you're putting limits on what you can create at that point. Now, if you don't look at it as the universe is providing it, you look at it as your greater awareness is providing it. All you want is a spaceship. So concentrate on the spaceship. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry about the goodies that are inside it or how it drives, or if there's pictures on the walls, or if the walls are transparent. It doesn't matter. All you want is the initially, perhaps this can be adjusted later, I don't know, but initially, what the folks that teach manifestation, who actually succeed in doing exactly what they're teaching, they just say, hold the feeling of you've already got it and it's perfect.
Yeah, I agree with 100% with your thoughts, but at the same time, we are dealing with something we cannot confirm, so it will be absolutely invisible. So how this works? So
Well, how do
it's
you want
supposed to
it to
be,
work?
What do you mean can't
yes, it's supposed to
confirm?
be
want it to
there
work?
already.
If you feel
Well,
it,
like
is it
your
real?
analogy with the water. Okay, we can't. You know, you hold the feeling of the water. We know what water feels like. We know what it tastes like, and all of this stuff. Yeah, we're not creating the water. All we're doing is finding what we already know to be there. With the ship, we're creating something totally out of thin air, for lack of or thin plasma. And so, what do you want it to look like? Does it matter what it looks like? You know, is that really important, or is it important that it is a protective field that you can travel with? You
Yeah,
see what I mean?
yeah, that's correct. Yes, I
Yeah,
agree. Uh-huh.
as
So
a help for as a
it's
help
a
for creative mind working to create something mentally. Just try to practice to start with something easier and get to more complex. For instance, create in your mind a sphere in which you are in the center, and expand the walls more further and pull them more closer, change its shape, and then move out of it and look at it how it looks from outside. Then go again into it and paint on the walls of the sphere some symbols at your choice. Look how they look like, and then move outside and look how they look from the outside view. There are such easy
Well,
practices.
but you are defining a shape, Shandor. In that way, is what Benz is saying is not the way it works, because if you imagine something, actually you are conditioning the form, the shape, whatever. So,
Yeah, I was talking about how to train your creativity
oh, okay,
without paper,
uh-huh.
without paper and without pen.
Yeah, the paper and the pen would be useful to keep it from altering constantly. That's one of the things I like to write stuff down, because then 2 weeks from now it's the same thought, which is useful. But I would just put it in words. I wouldn't actually draw a picture unless I needed a picture to, you know, if I wanted to put one on my fridge just to keep reminding me constantly. Um, One of the things, again, going back to the people who are manifesting, they one of the tools that they give the students to begin with is start with something really small. Manifest a flower, manifest a pencil, something it's you already know, it's already there, you're not recreating anything. You just, okay, I need a pencil, I'd like to find it while I'm going to the store, and then let go. Totally just let go of any outcome, absolutely how it comes there, whether it's handed to you, whether you find it on the street, it doesn't matter, but just let go of it at that point. And but be aware, and as you're walking to the store one day, you'll find a flower on the sidewalk, or one will float down from a tree. The way this comes out always comes out of left field. Every single time, it never happens the way you expect it to. It always comes out of left field. So the biggest thing, I think the biggest thing is to set your intent, set your vision, and then let go of the outcome. And that way you're opening it up to happen any way it possibly can. You're not limiting it in any sort of fashion whatsoever.
Yeah. Well,
And try to do the inventive, the creative games without having a special reason for purpose for that. Not,
That too,
I
yeah.
mean, purpose, yes, but not a reason, not because to fulfill some conditions.
Well,
well,
using the little things like a penny or a flower or a pencil or something really mundane, it's a good way of validating it. It's a good way of practicing
is a huge project. In my way of seeing it, I would like, in my case, I would like to do something before that, like for example, a ball of light or something. I know I'm talking about confirmation of existence again, but at least not seeing something that is there, you know, if this, even if it is a ball of light, translucent or whatever, some kind of manifestation to train my mind, so my mind could accept and help me instead of blocking, you know, the desire of creating something not visible, you know, as an intermediate step. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
You
put
know,
up
because
first your conditions of design. If you are going to design, for instance, you are going to design a light source, or you are going to design a spaceship, first put up your conditions. What conditions has to be fulfilled by that the creation? You are building a machinery. So
yeah,
what are the conditions for it? Such a size or environment, about the temperature, about the gravitational fields, about the shielding, about the communication systems, about the feeding systems, and put and work out all these details.
yeah.
You have to be clear about the conditions, what you need, what you want to create.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know, absolutely know that it's absolutely possible. The problem is that, you know, it's like a prepare myself to run a marathon, and I'm not walking yet. Understand what I mean? It's you know, it's
Even
my
if you
own
are
limitation.
preparing for a 3 days hiking, you are making a plan. You are making a route from where to where you want to reach. You make a plan what you will need in your luggage to not carry too much. So you think about the conditions. You need to keep your body warm. What you use for that to be also convenient, and you make your policies. So first you have your goals, then you put your purposes up, and then you create your policies. So the luggage has to contain all which are needed, but to not be heavier than 20 kilograms
For
because it's not
example, another,
convenient.
and
Then you
sorry,
go to make your plans.
sorry for interrupt, Sandor, but for example, Mr. Keshe says that it's a good time to start giving more. You know, I understand perfectly that. I think that the evolution is based on serving, but uh, you know, what else, or in what way, you know, you can give more, doing what specifically, you know, that's
If you know something, then you teach it, and if you don't know
oh
something,
yes,
then you try to pick up more on it so that you can teach it.
If you want to give, first find that one who has the need
yeah, yeah,
of what you are going to give. You cannot stop people on the street and
no,
giving them a hamburger because maybe it's not suitable for them.
yeah, of course, yeah,
But
but you
every
know,
interaction, though, people can be given something. You can give love, for example, to every interaction that you have. So it's not like you can't be giving, and I think that's what Mr. Keshe is aiming toward, is that we need to be more giving all the time, basically, and that's the state of someone that's in a natural, more plasmatic state. They're always giving so that they can receive. You become the corridor, or the lightning rod, rather, you know, that passes the energy through you to somewhere else where it does some good. And that way we can learn to become independent and pass around this, the spark of awakening or energy or plasmatic interaction, or whatever you like to call it.
Just a second, sorry Rick for interrupting. Somebody mentioned that there is no audio on live stream.
Yeah, that was before we had the audio was not working.
It's
It's
fixed
good.
now,
It's
it's
fine.
It's fixed already. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry for interruption.
did you
Sometimes.
hear about this guy Daniel Pomerlo?
I'm not sure. We're gonna have to wrap things up here pretty soon, because I need to take a break
Okay.
before the online teachings for the next 8 hours. So
If you had 30, are you ending the meeting? Rick?
Yeah, I'm going to be ending it pretty soon here. Yep.
Well, if you have 30 or 20 seconds, I will share with you a new. Well, it's not new, but I was. Well, I need to share the screen.
Okay.
I was nano coding some proteins here, so
Go ahead.
it's a good way, and maybe I can share it.
Yep. Go ahead.
But I need to share my screen. How I do that?
Oh, you go to share screen. Have your screen ready to go, and then go to the little green button on the bottom that says share screen, I believe. Not sure what.
Share screen. Oh
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
And then you choose the open window which you want to share.
Oh, I have 3 windows here. Yes.
Right. Just choose which one.
Oh, okay. Where,
Just click on it.
And click and share screen. That's it.
There. It should be coming through there. Yep.
Well, this is a way I was nano coding some proteins here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too. I'm really hungry right now.
Yeah. Well, look at that.
That's why I wanted to cut the meeting off.
Who
Now
said-
he's showing
who
me
said,
food.
Who said we cannot eat nano coding? Huh?
Well, that's right, and that carbon is actually a type of nanocoding and so on for sure. But it's not the same as copper oxide. If you poured copper on it and ate it, that'd be a different situation.
Yeah.
Keshe made my day when he talked about barbecue and kebabs. I thought, man, that's what
What?
I'm great at. I barbecue every other day,
You do?
just about.
Yeah.
You know, the
Oh.
best thing barbecued is a hamburger.
Oh yes. Well, I love these ribs and stuff.
You wanna stop the screen sharing. It's not good to show your whole desktop.
I
To
don't know.
to stop share, you go up to the options button, pull that down, and it'll say stop share.
Stop share. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's it. Sorry about the joke, man, guys.
The what? No, it was good. It's very good.
It was a good one.
No, it's a good point. What you got there is GANs and nanomaterials. So that's what's keeping most of us attracted to this planet when you think about it. Food is number one in most people's minds, right behind sex, basically. And you could go down from there.
A good wine, of course.
Love that nano-coated meat.
Yeah, well, I stopped eating that stuff a long time ago, but for many people, that's a big desire to be on this planet. Launch into it.
Try to enjoy the stay, at least, the experience being here in the middle of nowhere, but,
Yeah, right. That's right. Okay, I'm going to wrap things up here for today.
Makes the neighbors really envious, though. Especially when you got chicken baking all day.
Okay, great conversation. I appreciate everybody contributing to the conversation. That's very much appreciated. I'm glad we're all sort of getting on the same boat with this. It's still grounded, but at least our discussions are heading in the right direction, I think. And we all have to remind each other, to keep on track with this. If that is what we want to do during this particular session with the plasma reactor group, again, I'd recommend people sign up for the community.keshefoundation.org site. We'll probably have 2 or 3 groups there that'll be working on creating spaceships, I believe, in this kind of manner. And some may be more of the physicality than others, and so on. We'll have to find our own positioning that way. So, and it could be that one supports the other. Maybe we need the physicality group to support the other more emotional group, and so on. It's still a bit up in the air, this whole spaceship construction phase. But we're definitely learning quickly, I think, and we have a great guide to help us. So, and we can all help ourselves as well. So I think we're all doing pretty good so far. But we'll try to keep it a little more tight in our conversations as we go along, probably. And but I'm sure we'll have to work out various discrepancies in our understanding and so on as we go. Alrighty.
Well, I will include that grill in my ship.
Pardon me. That what? That's
The
real.
grill, the grill.
The grill
I
is your
include it
ship.
in my ship. You know, I open the window in middle of space to have my barbecue there.
Well, that could be a problem if you're eating other beings while out in space. Maybe frowned upon. I don't know.
This is a vampire. Who is this guy?
Well, we can have the vampire ship where everybody drinks the blood and eats the flesh for lunch. It may be that way. Who knows? Okay, enough for now. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time around.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Shut down the live stream. Shut down the live stream, I say.